So, petrolheads, it's time to introduce the founder of Car Collection Advisors. Some say his blood is synthetic motor oil. Others, they say he starts his day off with a shot of high-octane racing fuel. Now, without further ado, start your engines and let's take it from here in second gear and welcome Racer X!
Welcome back to the channel, petrol heads. Today is Sunday, and you know what that means. We're going to take a drive to a car show. Today's car show is Supercar Sunday. It's at the Pierce parking lot, put on by Dustin Troyan, a great guy. I've known him for a long time. And we're going to see a lot of Porsches. It's Porsche Mark Day. And today, as I promised in the reveal of this car that was at Woodland Hills Porsche, we are going to do some testing in the car on the road with none other than the GT3 Touring Manual. So both of these vehicles are manuals. This is a 7-speed. The GT3 Touring is a 6-speed. The GT3 Touring is naturally aspirated, revving to 9,000. The Sport Classic is a 3.738 liter twin turbo, same motor out of the Turbo S with a manual. And we're going to do some side-by-side pulls in first gear, second gear. We're going to do them rolling. Again, I don't believe in dumping clutches, but we will do the pulls in first and second gear, and we will know which car is faster in a straight line after today's video. And then when we get back, we will do a more in-depth review of the differences between the two cars, the Sport Classic and the GT3 Touring. So without further ado, let's go drive. Well, we're back. And so now I'm going to give the final review of the 911 Sport Classic versus the GT3 Touring, both of which are manual transmission cars. And as you could see from the video footage, the Sport Classic had the edge. Torque seems to be the winning factor. This vehicle has 600 Newton meters of torque versus the GT3 Touring, which has 450 Newton meters. Now, if you put that into what pound-feet of torque, which is more understandable to us Americans, even though I am half English, that equates to around 450 pound-feet on the Sport Classic and around 350 on the GT3 Touring. So as Randy Post has said in the past, torque wins races. And that's what we got out of today. From first gear on an uphill pull, the Sport Classic took the GT3 Touring by a pretty substantial margin. Then we ran some pulls which were in second gear at around between 30 and 33 miles an hour. And again, the Sport Classic with that torque pulled away. The Touring began to catch up as it revved to its stellar 9,000 RPM red line and got close. But I think we all agreed, my co-driver, that it was no cigar, but close. And what surprises me is all the reviews I've seen on the Sport Classic have acted as though this car isn't that fast. And I certainly don't agree with those reviews. They were, oh, it's too touring, it's not like a GT2. This car moves. It's much lighter than a GT2 or a Turbo S. This car is very light. It has no front drive assembly. It's rear-wheel drive, rear-wheel steering, huge 10-caliper piston ceramic brakes that haul this down significantly. And the suspension isn't that taut. Maybe that's where some of these criticisms come from. I thought it was just a joy to drive. It seems to handle really well. And it's a rocket. And I don't know where everyone's coming up with this car isn't fast enough, or that a GTS will beat it with the 3-liter, but that isn't going to happen. And with a mild tune from GIAC, this thing will have 700 horsepower. They tune it in such a way that it doesn't damage the transmission. They only bring up the boost after 4,000 RPM, and then they turn the wick up, and this car will be a GT2 with a manual. They're also smog and carb compliant. GIAC, they just do the best tunes. They've tuned this Carrera GT, and this puts out another 75 horsepower over stock with the exhaust from GMG. And down the road, this will be a candidate for a mild tune that will make this car even more of an animal. But you saw the race. Hey, this thing has torque to spare. It has the same size turbos in the Turbo S, and it just really runs. The factory specs from Porsche in terms of performance for this car indicate 11 seconds in the quarter mile and around 132, which is no slouch. The GT3 Touring is 11.6, and that seems to be consistent with our polls. What isn't consistent is Porsche claims 3.9, or I've heard 4.1 to 60 in this car, and 3.5 in the manual transmission touring versus around 3.1 with a PDK. But this car pulled away significantly 0 to 60 from the touring, so there's no way those figures are right. Again, the torque, the lightweight. This is also a Sport Chrono, which has some more power. That's why it's 550 horse and not 543, and more torque than without the Sport Chrono. But I believe it's underrated in terms of the power that Porsche is delivering, at least from the seat of the pants. Or this is just an extremely fast one. I don't know. But it's just a great car. And we had a lot of fun at the Supercar Sunday. People loved the car. They love this color. I love the color. And look forward to many more rides in this vehicle, as well as the GT3 Touring. So for now, au revoir, petrol heads, till the next one.